I know it's not fair comparison because of the big price and age difference, but in this video I'll compare the Adonstar AD249SM versus Mustool G1200. Hello, in this video I'll compare these two digital microscopes. This is the Mustool G1200 and this was sent to me by the Bang 2 years ago and I have a separate video about it. And this is the Adonstar AD249SM and this box is sent to me by the Adonstar in exchange for the review, but I'm not paid anything about this. Now I know this will be not a fair comparison because this is technically 2 years old digital microscope, but also the price difference is also big. This is much expensive, but this is what I have and this I will compare in this video. First I will start with this digital microscope. If you are following my channel you can see that I'm using it regularly, so basically do the job, but it has some issues. Some of them are deal breakers, some of them are smaller, so let's go through them. The mechanical structure is not the best. I have to print some parts to make it better. The position of the SD card is on a place where it is very hard to access to it. I always have to use some pencil or something like that to take it out. But these are not deal-breaking things, just I want to mention. But which are more important, for example, on that SD card, whenever if I record a 5 seconds or 5 minutes video, it will create half gigabyte file. But that file is compressed, at least the part which is used for the video, and the quality is very bad. So when I'm looking the picture on the screen, it is much better compared to that which is recorded on the SD card. And somebody wrote me down in a comment of that review video that they use the electronics from the dash cam and they just modify it to use it with this digital microscope. And one more thing which I don't like, not only the compression is too big, but that the depth of the focus is very small. Even if I'm looking the cross section of the filament, you look in the carbon fibers or something like that, I can see only slight part of it in focus. I cannot see the whole cross section because that depth of the focus is very, very small. Now we will see if those things are improved on this Adonstar microscope. I'm very curious how it operates. Of course there is a difference in maximal zoom. On this one theoretically it is 1200, but in practice it is 120 if we watch only the zoom which I can measure on this screen. Theoretically I can project this to the big television or maybe some big projector. In that case, yes, the digital zoom could be even 1200, but the real optical zoom is smaller, but for me this would be far enough. Let's go quickly through the specifications of this digital microscope by Adonstar. The screen is 10.1 inch, so much bigger in this case. It has 12 megapixel still images. Video output, well, it varies. It has Ultra HD, but it is not really full 4K video because in Y direction, yes, but in X direction it is a little bit smaller. The Full HD, it is correct and it can record in 30 frames per second, and the HD can be recorded on 120 frames per second, so we can create some slow motion videos, but in this case it needs a lot of light. It has 3 types of the lenses and the zoom is really impressive in this case. With lens D we can reach the digital zoom between 1800 and 2040, which is huge. Probably I don't need this kind of zoom, but we will test this too. Now let's see what's in this box. It arrives with a lot of equipment. I will not throw out this box, I will keep it to organize and store these parts. Definitely not a fair comparison. Look how big is the difference between the screens. On the back side of the screen we can see the slot for the SD card, USB Type-C, and this is the HDMI output. The assembly has 6 simple steps, but I'll create just time-lapse video. The assembling is finished in just few minutes, and if I would use the lens D, in that case I should attach the DC power here. Probably it has some additional lights inside. The power adapter has the output of 5 volts and 2 amperes. It doesn't arrive with micro SD card. It supports up to 32 gigabytes, but it is not included. I had a small break in the recording because I went out to buy the SD card. This is 32 gigabytes. Let's remove the protection foil. Oops, second attempt. And now let's talk about the lenses, and all the zoom numbers they give us are for the 3x digital zoom and output to 28-inch HDMI monitor. The lens A, which is already installed, and the working distance is between 12 and 320 millimeters, and magnification between 18 and 720. And this is the closest to one which arrived on the Mustool, and this I will use in the comparison for the pictures and videos. Application, well, we can see the whole size of the coin or watch some circuits or something like that, because in this case we have a bigger working area under the microscope. The lens L, the working area between 90 and 300 millimeters, the magnification between 60 and 240, and applications like a circuit board observer or something like that, because again we have bigger space under the microscope. Lens D, the working distance is between 4 and 5 millimeters, but a huge magnification between 1800 and 2040. And for this we need more lights, and we have to use this stand, and we have to attach the DC plug here from the back side because it needs the light from the bottom. They claim that we can see the whole coin, and these flexible lights are really useful because I can play with them to have the light from the angle to get the best quality. But setting the height is not so comfortable. I can set the height only with this 5 adjustment, but the total range for this I have to do 3 simple steps, but even then there are 3 steps. On the Mustool it is much easier because I can just rotate the sphere to get the whole range. Okay, I can see the whole coin in the screen. The picture is really great. And now let's record some video animation and some pictures. And this is recorded by the Adonstar, Full HD, 60 frames per second, and I'm very happy with this quality. And now let's see the Mustool. So here the setting the height is much easier, but this is the maximum height, so I cannot see the whole coin. And one more thing, disadvantage of the fixed light, I can change the intensity, but I cannot change the direction. So I'm limited with the quality. Let's create some video animation. And now let's play with something familiar. This is the nozzle, 0.4 mm in diameter. On Mustool lowering will be much simpler, but here I need to do 2 or 3 steps. There is a ring delimiter also which has to be moved in this case. And now let's compare the picture and the video animation side by side, and I notice that the picture has too big compression, so if I take only one frame from the video it has better quality. Here you can see the magnifications to 200%, and again video quality is better. And yes, the picture quality is already set to the best level. And now let's see the Mustool. So as I mentioned, lowering is much simpler here. And disadvantage of the fixed light, I can see 2 big reflections here. We can play with this by tilting the microscope. In that case we can change a little bit the direction of the light, but this is not too comfortable. By the way, this is CHT nozzle, and this is how it looks like from the other side. This is from the microscope. Let's move to the lens L, and later I will have more comparison pictures between 2 microscopes. The change is done in half minutes. Let's see if we can see the whole coin again. I have to raise the microscope. This is its maximum position. Not really. So the lens A has the wider angle of the view. Now let's create some video. I will move the coin a little bit. And now let's see this 10 euro bill, and the size of these stars is 1 millimeter. And now let's see the biggest zoom. I'm a little bit confused. I couldn't see the applications which I cannot do with the lens A, but I can do with the lens L, so I'm not sure about purpose of this lens. And now let's move to the lens D, and for this I will use this stand because it will give the light from the bottom. And with this lens I have to go really close. In a kit we have 5 samples. Let's see the first one, Musca domestica I, that's fly. And I have to go really close to these objects, between 4 and 5 millimeters. I will use the fine adjustment for this. Ooh. And at this zoom, even a slightly touch shakes the image. But maybe this magnification is too big for me. Next to samples, honeybee worker leg and wing. I hope they didn't kill the honeybees for these purposes. So this is the honeybee leg. And this is honeybee wing. And just to understand the size of this magnification, I have here a microscope ruler, this is my own, and the smallest scale is 0.01 millimeters. This division is 0.1 millimeters. And this one 0.01 millimeters. And this is size of the human hair. Let's go back to the lens A because this is the most interesting for me, and also I have more comparison images between two digital microscopes. What you can see on the screen is the division of 1 millimeters, and I already measured it. This is 100 millimeters on this screen, so without digital zoom we have a 100 time magnification. This is the 0.1 millimeter division, and this is 0.01 millimeters. And now let's move to the Mustool with the same ruler. As you can see, I have a problem with the light. If I watch it from the top view, I have to tilt the microscope a little bit. Approximately this is the biggest zoom I can get. The distance between 1 millimeter lines is 17 millimeters, so not bad for this microscope. And this is 0.1 millimeter division, and this is 0.01 millimeters. And it doesn't matter if I record 5 seconds or 5 minutes, it will create half gigabyte files. Let's stop the recording. Just some final thoughts for the end. Looking at the image quality on the screen, it is more or less similar. Of course, we have the advantage on the Adonstar thanks to the bigger screen. But looking at the recorded image quality, again very similar, and in both cases they use 2B compression. That image quality is not so good. On Adonstar, looking only one frame from the video has better quality compared to the image. It will be good to have a raw image quality or maybe JPEG with less compression. But quality of the video is much better with the Adonstar. Not only the video quality is better, but we have more resolutions and the file size is realistic. As I mentioned several times here, it will always create half gigabyte file, but here if I record 5-second video, that file size will be much smaller. Adjusting the light is very useful on the Adonstar because having it only from one position, it is not so comfortable. Yes, we can adjust the light with the tilting of the microscope, but that's not so comfortable for the use. But adjusting the height is much more comfortable with the Mustool. But on Adonstar we have to do 2 or 3 steps if we have to move this ring limiter too. And this fine adjustment is only maybe 2 or 3 centimeters the distance. The remote control with Adonstar is also very useful, especially when I create an image, it will not shake. Of course, with the Mustool I solved this by using the timer, 2 seconds timer, so when I press record, I don't touch it and it will create still images. With Adonstar we can connect it to the laptop and have their own software which you can use for the measuring of the distance. And if we have some reference distance, for example ruler or something like that, in that case we can measure different things, but they must be in the same plane like that reference distance. So for me, this is very important upgrade that the image quality is better because I'm a YouTuber and I can improve the quality of my videos. But of course, don't forget the price difference is huge between these two microscopes. I hope you find this video useful. Thank you for watching and see you in my next video.